I was born at home, and I grew up hearing stories about how I was born at home and how wonderful it was and how peaceful it was. And my dad and my mom both just had a tremendous experience with a home birth. And so when I got pregnant, I knew that I wanted to have a home birth. I knew that I could do it because my mom had done it, and it just felt right. You know, it just felt like it was a natural thing. Like I didn't feel like I had to go to the hospital, or I had to get in the ambulance, or I had to take drugs or anything for it to happen. I didn't feel like I needed any interventions to make that happen. I felt like my body was capable of doing that all on its own. But Andy is not a woman, and he does not quite understand that connection with the body. He's more based on statistics and facts, and he wanted to make an educated decision. And so did I. We wanted to really make sure that aside from me feeling comfortable, that we were doing the absolute best thing that we could for our baby. And so we looked around and we found out our options, and we took a tour of a hospital, we took a tour of birthing centers, and of course we already knew about our own home. When I went to the hospital, I was keeping an open mind. I really was keeping an open mind, but I've never really felt comfortable in hospitals or doctor's offices. You know, they've kind of made me feel sick, or I'll go in there and my energy will be high and everything will be great, and I'll notice I'll be in there for like 20 minutes and I just start to feel like blah. So it was never a place that I felt peaceful in or felt any sort of serenity in. And so I knew immediately it would be kind of hard for me to relax in that sort of environment and not tense up. And then on top of that, I started interviewing the hospital staff, and when I expressed to them that my plan was to have a natural birth, they kind of gave me this look like, yeah, she doesn't know what it's like, you know. Wait until she's in labor. She's going to be telling a different story then. And they just kind of discounted it. And they just kind of, oh, okay, well, you know, we'll see what we can do, and, you know, we're just going to take it one step at a time. And then they continued to tell me about when they do the Pitocin, and when they do the epidural, and when it's too late for the epidural, and just all of these things that I had already made up my mind that I did not want. I wanted to give birth to my baby naturally because I knew that I can do it. I didn't need a hospital taking my baby out of me. I needed to give birth to my baby myself. And so I knew that they were not really on my team. They were not really on my side as far as having a natural birth. Yes, they wanted to have a healthy baby, but as far as the actual birthing experience and my vision of having a natural childbirth, they weren't exactly going to be working towards making that happen. That wasn't their goal. And so I didn't want to be in that environment. I didn't want to be in the hospital and have to fight for my right to have a natural childbirth. I just wanted it to be able to happen. I wanted to feel supported and loved, and so that wasn't the right place for me. So I started to go to birthing centers, and I found some really great birthing centers that were not connected to the hospital. They were just run by midwives. And the one that I chose, the midwife that I ended up going with, was really fabulous, and she worked in a birthing center, but she also did home births, and the birthing center was really nice. I felt comfortable in it. It felt like a home to me, and I could see myself giving birth there. But then once I started talking to the midwife more and more, and I asked her, what is the difference between having a home birth or doing a birth at the birthing center? And she looked at me very plainly and said, none. There's no difference at all. It's just whatever makes you the most comfortable, that's what you should do. And I really, you know, went home, and Andy and I thought about it, and we discussed it. And the place that I felt the absolute most comfortable in is at home. And so we decided to go ahead with the home birth after educating ourselves about it and making sure that we had preparations and everything set up properly. We had the number to the hospital, we had the midwife carried with her all of the stuff that she would need in case she had to intervene. And that was nice that she did have all that stuff, but I tried not to think about it. She kind of just tucked it away in the corner of the kitchen, and I was like, okay, great, it's there, but I'm not going to think about it because I'm not going to need it. And so we went into it, and it was fabulous. It was fabulous. My mom helped me set up the birthing space. My contractions started about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I came down, and the place was beautiful. There was beautiful music playing, and there was candlelight everywhere. I had dozens of candles, and the fire was lit. We had a small fire going, and the room smelled like lavender, and it just felt like a sacred space. I just came in and I was just like, oh, I just kind of immersed myself in the energy of my surroundings. And it started to really flow into me because I realized that as soon as my birth began, I was super sensitive to everything. I was sights, sounds, sensations, smells, everything was like intensified by a million. I was in this altered state of being, and I picked up on all of the energy from the room, and all of the energy from the room was positive, and it was all peaceful, and it was all beautiful, and it was all just soaking into me, helping me give birth to my baby. And throughout my birth, every time I had a self-destructive thought, like, oh, I don't know if I can do this, this is really rough, or this contraction's really strong, or, you know, I kind of just stopped. I'd pause, and I just take a breath and just kind of soak in the energy from the room. And that would get me on track again, and everything, it just worked so well to just calm me down. And just, you know, I'd just look around, and I had pictures up of strong women. I'd look at it and think, I can do this, I'm a woman, I'm strong, I'm capable. And I just felt so loved and so supported. Everybody respected it. Everybody respected me, and everybody respected the baby, and everybody respected my body, and everybody respected the birth. And it was such a supportive environment. And it really made all of the difference in the world.